Hello, my name is Justin Freeman, and today I'll be discussing the World Bank's International Business from my Business Communication and Professional Development course, MBAP 507 for Dr. Ray. In today's presentation, I will be giving an introduction of the World Bank, the five portions of the World Bank Group, the World Bank's international business, the World Bank Group's current projects and many lands, and a conclusion wrapping it up, followed by references. The World Bank Group is a financial institution who provides loans for underdeveloped countries for capital programs. It is built up of 189 member countries. Each individual country has their own representative to report to and from the World Bank Group back to their original nation. The representative may be the Minister of Finance or the Minister of Development. The overall mission of the World Bank is to reduce the world's population who lives in poverty to 3% by 2030, and also to increase the income of the poorest 40% of people in every country. These are big shoes to fill, but the World Bank Group, being a part of the United Nations, feels like they are up for the task. The World Bank Group is comprised of five larger parts, and the World Bank falls in one of those parts. Originally known as the International Bank of Reconstruction and Development, the World Bank was founded July 1st, 1944. The loans originally given by the International Bank of Reconstruction and Development were just as what they seemed. They were for reconstruction and development, for the devastation that followed World War II. But soon, the purpose swayed to just development than reconstruction. After the successful reconstruction of many nations across the world, it was thought that infrastructure such as dams, electrical grids, irrigation systems, and roads were needed in many underdeveloped nations. The headquarters of the World Bank Group happens to fall in Washington, D.C. in the United States of America. With so many nations having a portion in the World Bank Group, there need to be offices in those lands as well. This is true because there are 100 offices across the world for the numerous countries to be able to communicate and keep in touch with the plans going on in their nations and in other nations around the world. The current president of the World Bank Group is David Malpass. His 5-year term began recently on April 9, 2019. Even though he is new to the job, he has government experience while working in the Treasury and under the Secretary of State. The World Bank Group is consisted of five portions: the International Bank of Reconstruction and Development, or IBRD, the International Development Association, or IDA, the International Finance Corporation, or IFC, the Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency, or MIGA, and the International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes, or ICSID. The International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, or IBERD, offers innovative financial solutions including loans, guarantees, and risk management products, as well as knowledge and advisory services, including on a reimbursable basis to governments at a national and subnational levels. The IBRD was founded in 1944. The IBRD was one of the original units of the World Bank. This is what started it all, basically. Without the IBRD, there would be no continuous or resulting World Bank Group. The International Development Association was created in 1960, and it is the source of the world's largest interest-free loans and grant assistance to the poorest countries. The funds are replenished on a 3 to 4 year basis by donor countries, being the larger countries not in poverty that have capital willing to donate and able to donate. Loans are paid back on a 30 to 40 year loan principal. with, like I said earlier, a interest-free loan principle, which happens to be incredible, figuring how much money is donated to each individual country. The IDA, or International Development Association, accounts for 40% of the World Bank's loans. So this is a major, major fundamental stigma portion of the World Bank Group. The International Finance Corporation, or IFC, was established in 1956, and it works with the private sectors in developing countries to create better opportunities for all, such as job creation, technology enhancement, and innovative thinking. So basically, what the IFC handles will be the training of new workers, the skill assessment of current workers, the creation of jobs needed in an ecosystem, and like I said, the training for those jobs. Also, the technology, being telecommunications or any type of communications that might be lacking in the region. The Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency, or MIGA, was established in 1988, and its guarantees protect investments amongst non-commercial risks and can help investors obtain access to funding sources with improved financial terms and conditions. So the purpose of MIGA is to protect the country or the nation, whether you be the underfunded nation that needs the loans or one of the donor nations that's helping to bring up the current level of civilization and the current level of poverty, to reduce the current level of poverty, I may say. They also offer political risk insurance and credit enhancement for close border private sector investors and lenders. So, like I said, it's more of the protection agency of the group, so neither nation is in danger while receiving the money or giving the money. And finally, the fifth piece of the World Bank Group is the International Center for Settlement and Investment Disputes, or ICSID. This establishment was created in 1966 and provides settlements for disputes by conciliation, arbitration, or fact-finding. The ICSID makes sure to keep a careful balance between the interests of investors and host states. So basically, it doesn't play sides. It's a really neutral organization, considering that the United Nations fund this. It can't side for a more powerful nation that might be funding, or it can't show pity to a weaker nation that needs maybe more leeway. It has to stay neutral and as unbiased as possible. Some international business of the World Bank. As of April 10th, 2019, the IDA has 837 projects in 11,315 different locations on 69 different countries. With so much globalization, your customs, your accounts, your do's, your do-nots have to be on key. But this is seemingly easier for them to do since there are so many nations involved. The ministers of finance or ministers of development are able to communicate with the World Bank Group what culture borders or possible issues that may happen coming into their nation and helping, or going into another person's nation and helping. The 837 projects total in $76.55 billion, whether that be in loans, job training, project development, no matter what. That is an abundance of money. The IFC has educated over 5.7 million students, cared for over 41 million patients, provided 187 million with telephone communications, and given out $365 billion in SME loans. So the World Bank Group handles big bucks, big business, big international business across the entire globe. Some World Bank Group projects consist of the Peruvian, the Peruvian Sierra. In the Peruvian Sierra, irrigation was an issue. Water wasn't getting to the farms, crops weren't being grown, famine was coming about. The World Bank Group intercepted, they intervened, they made a change. The World Bank Group improved irrigation service to delivery to 18,700 farmers across 14,700 acres of land. With such a big impact on the environment, it turned the entire economy around. More farmers had work, more civilians had food. The cost of food went down because there was more food readily available for the general public. This is just one project that the World Bank Group has done. Another example of the World Bank Group's project will be in China. In China, the World Bank Group helped to train 522,000 young adults and helped 4.2 million seek employment opportunities. So whether that be skill training, job training, on the job training, or job creation, the World Bank Group handles it all in any aspects. All they need is the time and the location. They will find the funding to get it done. The last example of a project I have that the World Bank Group operates in happens to be in India. India being a country to house billions, it's easy to say a lot of poverty can come from India, and it's true, it does. India is home to 1/4 of the world's poor, and with such a large amount of poverty, the nation needs funds, jobs, anything to help turn the tables. India has received the largest loan in the World Bank Group's history, accumulated, with over $42 billion being lent to them. The first loan was given to them in 1947 for $34 million for railroads. India was one of the first nations to become a part of the World Bank, which is why their loan was so large at the very beginning of the World Bank Group's creation. And since India has been a part of the World Bank Group from the very beginning, it has a permanent place on the executive board. In 1950, the World Bank Group founded Aid India Club to provide massive assistance to finance India's developmental plans. Aid India is comprised of nations in the United Nations, like the United Kingdom, the United States of America, Germany, France, Japan, and etc. The major contributions have been for developmental purposes like railroad funding, port development, iron and steel manufacturing, coal mining, agricultural, and telecommunications. The World Bank Group has truly made an impact on India. An example of a booming business in India from the World Bank Group happens to be the numerous telecommunication companies that they have in India. Whenever you call or talk to someone for technical support, they are likely to be from across the pond or the other side of the world, many of them being in India due to the World Bank Group's effect. In conclusion, the World Bank Group is made up of many different parts that all operate to better the world, whether that be reducing poverty, increasing jobs, increasing job satisfaction, or increasing skill sets. The World Bank Group handles it all, and they're ready to tackle big problems because they are a big company. Some nations may require more help than others, and that is fine. Special circumstances do arise, and that is why there are so many ways to protect the nations that need more help, or protect the nations that are willing to give more help. The international business of the World Bank Group is phenomenal and should be mirrored to many other businesses outside of the same culture. Thank you.